3x squared equals 12. It's z, but you will understand the x better. Okay, first of all, I have to clean it up. Clean it up. How? Divide by 3. And now, very nice. X equals, if you forget, and many of you, although we talked about it, and we talked about it, and we talked about it, you forgot the plus or minus. Please remember, when you start solving a polynomial equation, write yourself a little note. Quadratic. I have to have 2 solutions. If I only write one, it's not correct. If it's degree 3, right on the side, it's cubic. I have to come up with 3 solutions. Let's say degree 4, right on the side, I need 4 solutions.
Okay, I do have a question though.
Please.
Okay, so it's x squared, so 4x, or 4 squared, right? Or 4, right? So where did the 3 go?
I divide this side by 3 to get x squared. I divide this side by 3 to get 4.
Okay, okay.
Is this okay now?
Yes.
Moving on. $23. Good. This one needs also a little bit of prep, not a lot. So this is 6. X plus 1 squared minus 19 equals 47. We cannot take the square root. It's not ready yet. So first we have to move 19 to the other side. What is this? 60, is it 66? Good. Then we divide by 6 like we just did with 3. So x plus 1 squared equals 11. And now I take the square root. If I forget the plus or minus, I'm not getting the correct answer. I have to insert the 1 right in front of the plus or minus. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 11. Any questions? Okay, 24. So we're going to go by complete the square. Okay. Y squared minus 4y plus 13 equals 0. Again, this is a 4-step procedure. Negative 4 is the middle coefficient. We divide it by 2. We get negative 2. We square negative 2, and we get 4. So we have to add 4 to all 3 sides. Why? Because this is a perfect square. I have to move 13 to the other side. It becomes negative. Negative 13 plus 4 is negative 9. Now this is ready for taking square roots. But this is y minus 2 equals plus or minus 3i. So the square of negative 9 is the square of negative 1 times the square of 9. And this is I, and this is 3. Obviously, the discriminant is negative because the solutions are imaginary. And I insert the 2. So y equals 2 plus or minus 3i. $25. Quadratic formula. So 2x squared equals negative 2x plus 2. Clean it up. So x squared equals negative x plus 1. Move everything to one side. X squared plus x minus 1 equals 0. And now the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c. There are two negatives in there over 2a. And that's it. X equals -1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. There is nothing else you can do here. Good. Two more. So let's find the discriminant on this. I cannot find the discriminant before I set it up in the standard form. Minus 9w plus 13 equals 0, and then I'll make a decision. So now this is A, this is B, and this is C, always with the sign in front. So b squared minus 4ac does not have the square root. This is just the plain quantity under the square root. B squared, 81, minus 4 times 3 times 13. I need to find this number. Again, it's a test situation. Use the calculator. You have it in your hand. If you don't have one, borrow one from them. So 81 minus, it appears to be negative because 12 times 13 will be over 81, so it's a negative number. If that's the case, if the discriminant is a negative number, what do we need to choose? Two rational solutions, two complex solutions, two irrational solutions, or one repeated?
Two complex solutions.
Of course. That's what happens when the solutions are imaginary. Absolutely. Any questions? Any questions? Last problem. Here we have to read from the graph. The domain. Obviously, the domain is all real numbers because of the arrows. So I will write the interval negative infinity to infinity. The range, however, is from 0 to infinity. That's the range. The x-intercepts, right here, -3, 0, and 3, 0. The y-intercept, right here, 0, 3. The zeros, they are testing us to see if we understand what the x-intercepts, the fact that the x-intercepts and the zeros are the same. But here, for whatever reason, they only want an integer. They don't want, be careful, they don't want a ordered pair. So I have to write -3 and 3. Because it's correct. So when we say what are the zeros, we only mean x values. We don't need to emphasize that they are on the y-axis. And that's it. That was test 4. Any questions on test 4? Any questions on test 4? And as I mentioned, test 3 grade will replace if you take it, including today, if you did not take it. And I will transfer the grades and remove the test 3 retake from the grade book, so in Canvas. So it does not affect, it only has a positive effect on your letter grade. It does not negatively impact it. I have to remove it. Okay, so now I would like to go back to test 2 and test 1. Any questions so far before we go back to test 2 and test 1? Any questions, please? Yes, I did the test with you, but we had conversations and so on and so forth, and it took us 30 minutes. I'm not asking you to finish anything in 30 minutes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you focus on what I asked you to do, to focus and review, you'll see everything is very straightforward. But it needs work. It needs work in its time. Okay, so we are going back to test 2 from modules 3 and 4, and then test 1. So here it is. -9/10 t equals 7/4. As I mentioned before, I refuse to solve equations with fractions and decimal numbers. I know that 10 is 2 and 5, and I know that 4 is 2 squared. Remember the least common denominator. Least common denominator is 2 squared times 5, which means 20. I will multiply both sides by 20 to eliminate both fractions. That's why I need the least common denominator. So, multiplying this by 20 gives us negative 18t. How come? 20 divided by 10 is 2, but I have negative 9 multiplied by 2 is negative 18. Equals. When I multiply this side by 20, I have to simplify, and I get 5, which is 35. Final answer, t equals negative 35 over 18. Once I eliminated fractions, the equation becomes very simple. Any questions on this problem? Okay. This is the same problem, but it just has 3 terms and not 2. So we have 8 over 9. I'm going to use x because it's easier. Minus x over 5 equals negative 8/3. Again, I will find the least common denominator. 9 is 3 squared. 5 is 5, and 3 is 3. The least common denominator, how many different factors I see here? Well, I see 2 different factors, 3 and 5. 5 has power 1, but I have to choose the largest. I'm not adding powers. I have to choose the largest power, and the largest power is 2. So this is 45. So this is the least common denominator, and this is what I need to multiply each and every fraction, each and every term, everything by 45. When I multiply this by 45, of course I will simplify. 45 divided by 9 is 5, so 5x. When I divide 45 by 5, I get 9, so minus 9x. When I divide 45 by 3, I get 15. So this side is negative 8 times 15. Any questions so far on how we got these numbers? Anybody, please? Okay, so let's continue. I combine like terms. Negative 4x. Negative 120. I divide both sides by negative 4. And I get positive 30. Good. Number 3. Okay, the same problem. So 1/3 x plus 3/5 equals 15. This is even easier because the least common denominator is 15. I don't have to calculate anything on the side, so I multiply by 15. When I multiply this by 15, I'm actually dividing by 3, so I get 5x. When I multiply this by 15, I get 3, so it's 3 times 3. And this 15 goes away, so I have 14. I have to move 9 to the other side. And then I have 5x equals 5. So then x must be 1. Very simple to check. You can simply go back in and plug it in. Plug it in here. And see if you get 14, 15. These are much simpler equations than what we got to, right? Quadratics and complete the square, it's way more sophisticated. This is just a multiplication and moving terms around. The same thing here. So here we have 0.4y plus 4 equals -4. Because this is such a simple equation, you can say I'm changing the rules on you. I'm not. You can still multiply everything by 10. But this was very simple because I have 0.4y, I move 4 to the other side, and all I have to do is divide. But you can still multiply by 10 from the beginning if that's what you want. And how do I divide this? First I multiply top and bottom by 10. 80 divided by 4, so that's -20. I'm sorry, not x, but y. Any questions? Okay. Moving on. 5. Okay, so this is solve the equation. 0.2 4c minus 92 equals 18.4. What I recommend here is divide both sides by 0.2. So when I divide both sides by 0.2, look what happens here. 18.4 divided by 0.2. First I have to multiply both sides by top and bottom by 10. So I get 184 divided by 2, which is 92. By noticing that if I divide both sides by 0.2, both decimal numbers go away. One because I divide, and the other one because 18.4 divided by 0.2 is actually 92. Then you save a lot of time. And you don't want to distribute a decimal number. If this is not divisible by this, I will still not distribute. I will multiply by 10 first. So then, of course, I have to move 92. So I have 4c equals 184. 92 plus 92. And then now I have to divide by 4. 46. Any questions? Okay. Good. So the same here. Determine or not the ordered pair is a solution. I will put the function in the graphing calculator. It's solved for y. If it's not solved for y, you have to solve it for y first. But it's solved for y. So I'm just going to plug it in. So it's solved for y, and I see -3x minus 2, -3x minus 2. And I plug in these x values. What x values? 1, -1, and 2/3. 1, -1, and 2/3. Good. So I found -5, 1, and -4. Done. -5? Yes. 1? No. I was supposed to get 1. I didn't. So I got -5, yes. But I got 1. I didn't get negative. I didn't get 0. And on the last one, I should have gotten -2. I didn't. I got -4. So therefore, this one is a no yet as well. 7. Complete the table. I will not think twice. I will solve for y. When I solve for y, I get -2x plus 3. -2x plus 3. Fine. And I will plug in the numbers they want me to determine the y for. -3, -1, and 2. Fine. Go to, really? What did I do? Oh, yes. I agree. Good. So I just have to plug in the numbers they want me to plug in. -3, -1, and 2. -3, -1, and 2. I just copied them. 9, 5, and -1. Boom, boom, boom. 9, 5, -1. So then I'll write the ordered pair. -3, -3, 9. Then -1, 5. And then 2, -1. This problem should take under a minute. But first you have to solve for y. Why do I have to solve for y? Because the calculator does not accept anything else. It has to be solved for y. Okay, no problem. I just have to move 2x to the other side. And then I plug them in and I get the ordered pairs. But just remember to write the ordered pairs here.